Hey there everybody, it's markcrilley. I'm back with another video. This is part 2 in a 2-part series, a new type of video that I came up with in which I did this drawing last week. I stopped before it was finished and I invited my viewers to give me suggestions on how to finish it. Who should these little trick-or-treaters be dressed up as? What other details should I add to this drawing? And they came through for me. They actually posted, boy, it was something like 1,900 different suggestions. I had to whittle it down to 8. Which I will be using. And let's go ahead and start with the first one right here. It comes from Lily C. Please make one of them dressed as Talia from Brody's Ghost. Well, actually, there were a lot of people very kindly suggested me drawing my own characters. I thought I would go ahead and do the first one as Talia, as suggested here. This is my ghost character from my graphic novel series, Brody's Ghost. And I'm going to start drawing this. I'm going to do this little part here real time, but I got to warn you, I got a lot to get through in this video, and an awful lot of it is going to have to be in time-lapse. So Old Man Time-Lapse is just going to have a field day today. What's that? You say you don't like time-lapse? Well, you better learn to like it, because you're in my world now. It's going to be almost all time-lapse, all of the artwork, but I thought I would just say a few words about the different suggestions that I got and how much I appreciated people putting the time into some very thoughtful, interesting, original suggestions, and it's a shame that I can't use all of them, but hopefully people will be happy with the ones that I chose. So anyway, as I said, I think I'm going to have to resort to time-lapse to make sure that I have enough time for completing all these different things. It's going to be full color. It's going to involve an awful lot of stuff. I may even try to do the lighting, my idea of having the light source come from the right-hand side of the illustration. And so, sadly, yes, it is all going to be in time-lapse, but I will come back periodically as I introduce each new sort of piece of the puzzle, each new suggestion that I got from a different viewer. So let's go ahead and finish up this drawing of Talia from Brody's Ghost. All right, so there we have Talia. You can see I'm going for a cartoony look this time. I can't decide, are these kids dressed up as these characters, or are they the actual characters going trick-or-treating? I will leave it up to you. Please make a decision in the comment section. But here we have another character waiting to be decided, and who shall it be? Well, we're going to find out from one Emerald Key, who says, can one of them be Harley Quinn? Well, yes, one of them definitely can be Harley Quinn. I've never drawn this character before, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So, sorry, again, it's time-lapse, but let's go ahead and draw Harley Quinn. So that's my first time trying to draw Harley Quinn. A somewhat unusual decision here to show the teeth. I did notice that she had the bright red lipstick that seemed an important part of her character. I'm going to try to downplay this just a little bit, but normally I don't draw the lips, but I thought with this character it was kind of important to somehow work in those bright red lips at some point. And the coloring, of course, is going to make a big difference with this character in particular. But let us move on to the next one. This one coming from Victoria Bate, who says, could you do Ed, Al, and Winry from Full Metal Alchemist? Now, a lot of people had this kind of idea of relating all three of them. That would have meant me giving a single person all three of the characters, which I thought would not be so cool in terms of all these different, I wanted to spread the love. So what I'm doing here is choosing one of them, and it's going to be Al, that's right, Alphonse, who I've always admired the armor design of this character, and so that's what I'm going to be doing here very quickly. So let's go ahead and do that drawing, and I'll be back as we move into the other details. All right, so there we have our three main characters, but you know what? I realized I forgot something very, very important, and that is Harley Quinn's baseball bat. This can't be Harley Quinn without that baseball bat. I'm going to go ahead and sketch in the basics of it here, but let's go ahead and finish it off with my good buddy old man time lapse. All right, well, now she's looking a little more like Harley. So it's time for me to move on to the matter of the bags of candy. And I tried not to play favorites, but there was one suggestion that covered all three of them in an interesting way. Comes from A Zone. You should change their little candy buckets. Number 1 should have a pumpkin. Number 2 should have a skeleton skull. And number 3 should be a Frankenstein head. And I loved the creativity involved there. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. All right, so actually I should probably add just a little more of, right? Doesn't he have to have scars to make him really look like the real Frankenstein? In any case, very grateful to A-Zone for that suggestion that allowed me to cover all three of them at once. I certainly had fun doing that. And now we can move on to the next one, which is also related to the candy containers. From Jasmine L. Make one of the kids have their candy falling out of their bag, leaving a trail behind them. There was more than one person who had that idea, but Jasmine L. was maybe the first one that I saw. Let me shift focus so that I can do that. I'm going to add a little hole. I guess I can do that right here. I'll have these things are sewed out of cloth, let's just say, and oh my goodness, a little hole opening up in the back of our jack-o'-lantern here. But again, I'll shift the focus so I can draw the candy falling out. All right, well, poor little Talia here, she is going to be very sad when she gets home and realizes that her candy is strewn all around the neighborhood. But let's move on to the next one. I love this suggestion. Comes from Satisfied Jellyfish 23. Make the O in or the moon. Yes, as you see up here, we have the word or in Trick or Treat, and I think that's a great idea. Let's shift focus and do that little drawing. Well, a lot of this is going to be achieved by way of the coloring. I'm pretty sure the effect and, the lettering will be all... I suppose I'll probably make these letters in black or some darker color, and then this will just be sort of naturally lit so as to reveal that it is the moon. Let us move on. We're getting closer to the last of the little suggestions before I'm going to do a great big long coloring fest on this drawing. This one coming from Jaden Dela Cruz. You should add some tombstones. I agree with you, Jaden. I should add some tombstones. I'm going to shift focus down to the lower right-hand corner where I should be able to add at least 3 or 4 of them. Awesome. I think that does add something to it, and so I must thank you for the suggestion there, Jaden. Now it is time to move on to the last of the suggestions, and all of these suggestions that I've used have been pretty directly related to this concept of Halloween and so forth, but I thought in the spirit of my old lightning round questions, I would choose at least one that was completely random and had almost nothing at all to do with anything, but I just kind of love the idea of it. It comes from Onio Kyun. Put a piece of bacon on the ground. One little piece of bacon, that's all I ask. Well, hey, that's not asking so much. Let's go ahead and draw a little piece of bacon here, because Onio Kyun was so polite in asking, and come on, only one request. Just one little piece of bacon. Is that too much to ask? No, it certainly isn't. And so here goes your slice of bacon. I'm going to move on to a big, long, non-stop, all time-lapse coloring fest. It's going to be, I'm going to predict mostly watercolor, but I may drop in a little bit of marker here and there. Certainly loads of colored pencils, and that is going to bring us right up to the completion of this illustration. Don't be fooled by the magic of time-lapse. It's not going to be something that I do in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It's probably going to be more like an hour or so. Maybe I'll time it to give you the exact figure, but let's go ahead and move on and finish up all the coloring of this illustration. right, well, that brings us near the end of this illustration. Thanks to all of you who gave the suggestions, who were sort of my collaborators in this illustration. Let me know what you thought about this video series. I certainly had a lot of fun doing it, and I'd be happy to do another one in the months ahead. But, you know, this drawing cannot be done. Cannot be done until I add the Blushies. And we've got a bunch of different characters here, so everyone gets their Blushies. That's right, even Alphonse somehow magically has Blushies on the exterior of his armor. And yes, even the bacon gets Blushies. I don't know if they show up. Anyway, hang on, I'm going to go grab my books so that I can thank anyone who has supported me by getting them, like Brody's Ghost, my graphic novel series. This is indeed the source of Talia, who you saw me draw in today's video. The Realism Challenge, my book on hyper-realistic illustration, as well as the Drawing Lesson, a graphic novel that teaches you how to draw, and my very latest book, Mastering Manga 3. Thank you so much to all of you who support me by getting my books. I really do greatly appreciate it. But let's lay down this blushy pencil and end this video. I want to thank you all for watching it. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back with another one real soon.